High school tracks and bleachers can bring back some of the best memories you will never forget. But for one Louisville girl, one of these memories will be the worst.
I came here one day to go running at night, and I went out to my car when I was done, and there's a car sitting next to mine, and I go to get in the car, and these two guys got out and pushed me in their car and tried to rape me. I was scared and wanted to get out of the car, but they wouldn't let me get out of the car.
She says after minutes, which seemed like hours, another car drove past, scaring the men and causing them to toss her out of the car.
I went home and my friend called the cops, and they came over, and a detective came over and talked to me and filed a report, and then went to the hospital.
Once at the hospital, she said she was giving a rape kit involving multiple swabs and hair samples. Her picture was taken along with her clothes. The price for being a victim?
Ended up being like a couple $1,000s for like the hospital and the kit.
She said since the attack, she worries not only for herself, but for her 4-year-old daughter as well.
Kind of freaks me out a little, especially when it was like right up the street from my house, and you know, like people like that are just like driving around when you're trying to like just go run and do your everyday life.
Police say attacks like this can happen anywhere, including here. Rachel Russo was walking home last May, and she stopped at the top of her steps to search for her keys.
I got about 2 steps from the top step and heard something behind me, turned around, and there was a guy with a gun to my forehead wanting everything that I had. So he got really angry because I wouldn't really give him anything. I kind of just shut down and ended up hitting me twice on top of the head, once in the face. My cell phone flew out from behind my ear. He went after that, grabbed my keys. I busted in through the window with my elbow because he had my keys to get inside. Meanwhile, he attempted to steal my car but couldn't steal it, and then couldn't get the keys back out. But all in all, about 15 minutes of struggle.
Russo says she was also taken to the hospital for extensive questioning and an exam, an expense that took a toll on her wallet and her life.
I've ended up with over $2,000 in medical bills from getting mugged. Another girl got raped 2 nights after me, so from the same guy. I think that he should have to pay for everything. I think it should be all on him. But no, I've had to pay. I was going to move to Chicago. I've kind of even taken that back in stride, thinking I don't know if I want to live in a big city after all, because obviously on my own, you know, I thought I could possibly do better in that situation, but it scared me pretty bad. I don't think I'd want to be in that anytime soon, or even give myself the option to have it happen to me anytime soon.
Russo did not sit quietly after her attack. She sent out a virtual message using Facebook. She explained she had gotten attacked and put a description of the man as her Facebook status. This caught the attention of another victim.
A mutual friend of his wrote back to me saying that she had been mugged 2 nights later, gave me, you know, kind of a thorough explanation of what the guy looked like. It matched the description of my attacker as well, and we kind of were aware that he might have, she also lived on, I lived on 4th Magnolia, she lived on 1st and Magnolia. So kind of up and down the same street, kind of looked the same. We thought, you know, chances of that were probably it's the same guy.
Since she took action, they were able to put her attacker away. After he pled guilty, he received 20 years in prison, putting her at ease with him, but she will be on edge for the rest of her life.
Before that, it was kind of like you walk down the street and you're looking, and everybody that kind of looks, you know, the same as who he was, and kind of in the back of your mind, is that the person that attacked me? Is that the person that attacked me? Will they recognize me? You kind of feel like you have to hide until they're back out. It was kind of always in the back of your mind.
Luckily for these girls, they went to police, an option Officer Doug Curtis says is necessary.
Well, somebody would have to call the police. I'm assuming the victim or a family member of the victim or a neighbor or somebody would put a call into 911, and then the agency that would receive the call would dispatch a couple of police units to the scene and determine, you know, assess the situation.
He says the severity of each situation varies from case to case.
There might have been what you would think of violence, but with no physical injuries. So there might have been some pushing, shoving, you know, kicking, that type of thing, but both no visible injuries, nor do either side tell you they're injured. And then you start working up the ladder in escalation. Then you have a minor injury, maybe a complaint of soreness, or my thumb hurts, or my arm hurts, or my leg hurts, or whatever, but you can't see any injuries. And then sometimes, of course, you would get there and there's definite visible physical injuries, and maybe both parties are injured.
In his 28 years on the police force, Curtis says changes protecting women have been made.
In Kentucky law, for the most part, any violation or misdemeanor, for the police to make a warrantless arrest, they have to witness the offense. And one of the exceptions to that law is domestic violence.
Curtis explains often women are attacked by men they know and get trapped in situations that are hard to break out of, though he encourages them to try.
Generally, I think victims of most crimes where there's violence involved do know the perpetrator.
One effort taken the victim will never see is what is called Amanda's Law here in Lexington. The law was passed 3 months ago in honor of Amanda Hansen, who was murdered by her boyfriend Steve Nunn. The law would allow electronic devices to be used in cases of domestic violence. This would offer more protection than the measures previously taken.
DVOs are domestic violence orders, and they can be issued as a follow-up to the EPO, and that would prohibit the abuser from doing certain things. Now, I realize that these are just pieces of paper, but they're pieces of paper that are enforced by the police. So they're court order papers that the police have enforcement authority, and if the person violates these orders, they can be arrested for contempt of court.
Despite these attacks, these women are staying strong and looking on the positive side.
I still have my life, so I'm happy.